Hey everyone, it's Dale again. So let's add some style to this, and let's try to make this really ugly and basic web page look better. So a couple of the things we're going to want to fix. One, I have this ordered list here eating into the image. Two, you can see here we're butt up against the left hand side of this, so I want to fix that. I have the text going right up to this image right here. Also, you'll notice we have a serif font here. This is Times New Roman, and as you just learned in that video lecture, we typically want sans serif fonts on the web. So those are just three things. And then the last thing is I want to add a color scheme to this. So we can take a look at fixing all of those things right now. So let's tackle this issue first. And I'll be quite honest, the easiest way to fix that is to switch the alignment of the image from left to right. So I just changed that right there, and now it has moved over there. But if you are dead set on having your images on the left and you do happen to have a list there, whether it's an ordered list or an unordered list, you're going to need to add a little bit of style to the head in order to fix that. So I'm going to move this back over. You can see my browser is being a little weird with that 1, 2, 3. So there it goes back to where it should be. So up here in the head, I would want to get started with my style. And this is the CSS that you would want in that. So you're adjusting the position of the ordered list. Again, this is just one of those things you learn over time. But once you save that, and hopefully this will work, as I click refresh there, now it has pushed the ordered list outside of the image. Okay, so either one of those will work. And if you want to take a look at this again one more time, this is that code you would need in order, that CSS that you would need in order to make that happen. Okay, so now let's go in and start changing some other things. And I will say we already have a little bit of style in here through attributes and values. So there are three main ways to add style to your page. The first is adding attributes and values to your tags. The second is the way we're doing it here, where you actually add some style into the head. And then the third way would be writing your own style sheet and then attaching it to every page on your site. Because we're only building one page, we can get away with just doing this right here. If we had multiple pages, you would want to put a style sheet together as a separate file and then attach that to every page on your site. So again, we're one page here, so we can go ahead and go with it this way. What I will say is if you've added things into your HTML like this down here, which is what's controlling the black and white background color and font, you probably want to get rid of those just so there's no confusion with the browser. So you'll see here when I hit refresh, it's gone back to white background and black font there. Okay, but we can now control all that through style up here. So we already have a little bit of style for the ordered list there that I showed you about, or that I showed you. So now let's add, remember this is controlling the tag, or this is telling you where the style will apply. So this applied to just the ordered list. If I want to change the background color and the font color, I would put body because I want it to apply to the entire body. Remember, we use the curly brackets here, and so I'm just going to hit enter and get down here. And then one great thing about Sublime, particularly as a text editor, is you can see when you start typing, it will offer up a lot of suggestions. So here is actually the background color. So if I did want that to be black, I could either type in black or I could type in £0000000 and hit the semicolon there. And either way, that's telling you that everything in the body you want to be with a black background. So now when I hit refresh, you can see we got rid of all the font. Well, it's still there. It's a black font as well. So we would need to go back here and type color, which is the property in CSS to control color, and I could either type white with a semicolon, or hopefully now you've remembered that the hex code for white is all Fs. So then if I save and hit refresh, we're back to where we started with that. Okay, so we could go in here and let's say we wanted to change this to red and change the background, the font color to black. That's how you would control it right there in CSS. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. A couple of other changes we want to make in the body. Let's fix that font because again, we want to get rid of that serif font. So we could either do just font and name 1 if we wanted to. So if I just wanted Arial, we could do that and save. And you can see that didn't work. So let's go back here and make a change. So let's try font family instead, as I am having some issues typing. Let's try Arial there and save. And you can see now it's changed to Arial. But because I have the font family set up, I could go in here and add any other thing. Just in case they don't have Arial, I could say any sans serif. So it'll try Arial first, and then if they don't have Arial, it will try any sans serif. And when I hit refresh, nothing happens because we had Arial there. Okay, so that's how you change your font. I want to change a couple of other things. One, I want to add some padding to everything on the left. So let's start first with that header. And I've got H1s there. So I want to add some padding left. And let's just do 10 pixels. Again, remember, you close a sentence in CSS with a semicolon. So I'm going to save, and that should push this over a little bit. So there you see that happening. Now I want to do that to all the paragraphs as well because I don't want them sitting there on the edge. So let's do padding left, and let's do 10 pixels there as well. So now let's test this. So you can see it only affected this one because this is up against the image. So, but if you did notice, it pushed all of that over. Now I want the image to align with them as well. So I'm going to add some image padding. So let's do image. And let's do padding right now on the image. Well, we want to do both. Sorry. Let's do 10 pixels on the left. And let's also do padding right 10 pixels. So that we're not only pushing the image away from the side, but we're also going to add a little bit of space here. Between hopefully both that list and the paragraphs. Okay, so that's much better. Now you can see the H1, the image, and the paragraphs are all aligned, and we gave a little bit of space here, so we have a little bit of breathing room in order for that to work. Okay, so that's CSS at its most basic. You would just continue to go on doing that. I want to make a couple of changes really quickly because I want to show you how we're going to be helping you along the way. So I'm going to add that. We're going to change the background color to white. And we're going to change the background color to black, and we're going to change the text to white. Okay? So that was really the only change I made there. Now, if you go to this week's module, you're going to see we have a little bit of style, or we have a style guide for you here that we want you to use as a base. So I'm going to copy this, and let's put it into Sublime, and I'm going to replace all of this. Well, actually, I'm going to keep that ordered list style in. So I'm going to copy and paste. I don't need this because I already have the style tag open. So you can see everything else is okay. So we have that little bit of ordered list style to get it outside of the image. And let's just go through here now and look at everything that we're providing for you. One, this changed your text to black. Your background color is now beige. You can see we have a font family of Verdana. If it doesn't have Verdana, we have Arial. If it doesn't have Arial, we have Helvetica. If it doesn't have Helvetica, any sans serif will do. The font size is 12 pixels for the body. Now we've gone in here to the H1 and added just a little bit of style as well. So we've told it we want it to be 16 pixels in bold. Font style would be italics or not. and text decoration would be underlined or not. So really this is just 16 pixels in bold. We have the paragraphs being 12 pixels and normal all the way around. And then we have some style here for the links. So remember, the A tag or anchor tag is a link. So if it's an unvisited link, which means you haven't clicked through on that link yet, the link is going to be red and it will not be underlined. If you've already visited that site or clicked through it on the page that you're working on, it's going to be a dark red with no underlining. Active means the actual act of clicking it. It's a split second. You may or may not notice it, but it's going to be this color, which I'll tell you is kind of a dark gray or a grayish color. And then hover is when you have the mouse actually over the link. It will turn to gray and it will be underlined there. So if I go ahead and save this and refresh, you're going to notice a few things. One, we lost all of our padding, right? So we would need to go back through, but it changed to Verdana. You can see it changed the font size here greatly. Here's that dark red link because we've already clicked through this in the previous video lesson. So that's why it's dark red instead of just regular red. And you can see when I hover over it, now it turns to gray and underline. So from there, you'll need to actually go in and start tweaking this and adding changes to it. So let's start first with a color scheme, and let's change up the color. And I want to go to Adobe Color CC and start looking through some of the color schemes. So once I do that, I want to click on Explore, and then you have all of the color schemes here. So once you find one you like, let's say I want to use, let's go with this one right here. If you click on Edit Copy, it will then give you the hex codes for all of these colors. Okay, so let's say I want to use this beige as my background. So now I would go into the style, and instead of this beige there, I would add that. And then let's say I wanted to make this be the color of all my H1s. Okay, so that's a real easy change to start with here. So I would change the color here to that. Okay, so I don't want to purchase, and I'm going to hit save. And now when we go back here, we've changed the background color. You can see this is kind of hard to see, but it is that kind of grayish color that we selected from the color, or this blue-gray color that we changed. Let's make it this color just so you can notice the difference. So I'm going to go back to the style, get rid of that, and now do that, and we'll go back here. So now you can see it changed to that color. Okay, I could go back here and change all that padding if I wanted to. So I wanted padding left of 10 pixels on H1. On paragraphs, I wanted padding left of 10 pixels. And then I don't have any style here for the image anymore, so I'm having to add this. And remember, the image would be padding right 10 pixels. So now if I go back here and refresh, it moved everything over, and it already had a little bit of padding there. So everything appears... Oh, I'm sorry. No, we didn't add that. So H1, I would also want... I'm sorry, this should have been padding left. See, when you're working with style and code, sometimes you have to fix your own mistakes. So image, I want both padding left and padding right of 10 pixels because I not only want it pushed away from the edge, but I want it away from the text as well. So now there we have that padding, and now we have padding over here. Okay, so from there you would just go through and start changing this. If I wanted Arial instead of Verdana, I could just get rid of that. And now you can see it changed to Arial, and that font is really small, so I might want to go back through here. Let's change that to 32, and I want to change this to 16. And now click refresh. You can see we have a big... you can see here, this is staying at the default of 12 because we only put 16 for anything in a paragraph. So if I wanted that ordered list to also be 16, I would need to go right here into the OL and do font size and do 16 pixels and end with the semicolon as well. And now that changed it back up to 16. Okay. And before we end, let's go over these one more time. So again, this means that an unvisited link, one you haven't clicked through yet, the link color is going to be red and it's not going to be underlined. And if we've already clicked through the link, it's going to be dark red. So that's why this is that dark red color. And then it has that gray hover because, again, we have that listed as gray and it turns to underline. So what if we wanted to work in our color scheme to this? So here's how we could do that. We have this kind of light blue here. Let's change the color of an unvisited link to that light blue. Let's make this dark blue the visited link. So I'm going to go back here. And now we'll add that. And then let's make this gray the hover and the active. So I'm going to get rid of that and we'll change that. And now we have all of those links or all of the A tags set up to be the way we want them. So you can see, remember, this was our unvisited, this was our visited, and this is our hover now. So here's that dark blue, but you can see when we hover over it, it turns to that kind of grayish color. And the reason that's dark blue is because in the earlier tutorial, we already clicked through to the Texas State University site. So let me go in here and just add an unvisited link so you can see it with that other color. So I'm just going to go into the code here. I'm just adding a list, and let's just go to ESPN. ESPN.com, and then I want it to stop linking right there. So if I hit save and refresh, now here's the light blue, but you can see it doesn't really work very well in the scheme of our color. Let me actually just double check that. 4A8. 4A8. So they're not working all that well, and that might actually be, sorry, doing all this on the fly. That actually looks like it's the same color, which is weird. Let me add a different website here and see if that's doing it. So let's see. I'll do vox.com. Let's resave. Maybe I had gone through. So there it changed it to that light blue. That's weird. I must have clicked through ESPN on a previous demo. So you can see we do have our color scheme now in effect. This is an unvisited link. This is a visited link. And this is the hover color. So we have an unvisited link here. We have a visited link here. And when I hover over both of those, they turn to that grayish color. So if I click to vox.com through this and now go back to this, you can see it changed to that dark color because it's now a visited link. All right, so you'll just be going through now and customizing your style. We expect to not see anything that we recognize in this style when we look at your assignments. So we want you to really go in here and customize things. You can add style, you can take away some style, you can make major changes. Remember that W3 Schools is your friend. So if you need help with figuring out what properties or values to use, W3 Schools has a long list here. If you click on CSS properties, here you can see all the stuff you can do with CSS. Okay, so I encourage you to go look at that, customize your site, make it look good, pick a color scheme, pick a font that you like, mess around with the font sizes, add some padding to make the page look the way you want it, change the link colors. You can make these underlined if you want. And that way you will have something that you can claim as your own. And we've come a long way from that black background with white font to making it look a little more stylish with a color scheme, some padding, and some sizing considerations that we've taken into. So don't forget, your HTML assignment is due this Sunday at 11:59, or I'm sorry, Sunday the 22nd at 11:59, and we're excited to see the results.